Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black Eel Podcast. Here are your hosts, Scott and Mike. We are going to be talking about quickly, I would say, the latest TV spotlight on Daredevil Born Again, then move on to Harley Quinn, then Invincible, then the two-episode season finale of Spider-Man, or correctly, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and then we'll move on to a character spotlight from Scott, which is what we've been dying for the last 2 weeks. So let's get right into this and talk about.
So we were waiting.
We've been
Whatever.
waiting
All right.
since the last time I did it. We're
Yep.
so excited. Um, Anyway, so let's get right into. So we have confirmation now that Foggy Nelson is 100% back.
Yep. Which
Which
like
we had
we
kind of known, but I think the big thing was we actually got to see him, and he looks good. He
I
looks
had
good.
assumed that I had seen him in a previous trailer, but you didn't think you did, so we
Well,
just
we
kind of went
we
on the
just talked.
assumption that
Well, I was
yeah.
gonna say we literally just talked about this. So the scene that they showed the three of them talking together on the streets of New York, we saw that in a trailer, but it was an aerial view, not a like face view like we did in
Yeah.
this one.
It was one of those things where it was like for me it was like okay, who else would it be? It's got to be Foggy
No,
and you
that's
because we hadn't had official confirmation, it's
and like I said to you too, it's been so many years that we don't know whether or not somebody's been added to the group too. That could have been a possibility as well. But either way,
true.
we also got to see the Punisher, who's going full on mullet. It looks like, um, which
I
is
mean, you see him is gonna be brutal. So
at the very least the parts that he's in 100%.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see where this is. I mean, we know where it's going. It's Kingpin becoming the mayor, but it sounds like he's already mayor. I'm not 100% sure on that. This is where it gets a little awkward, where it's like, I don't know if he's running for mayor or if he is mayor at this point.
Yeah, we don't have. I don't remember getting confirmation on that. Obviously, at the end of Echo, we found out that he wanted to run for mayor.
Correct, but what I'm saying is because the way that
But
they're
no,
setting
I
up.
obviously we don't know if he's still in the campaign process or if
Correct.
he's actually an elected official. I don't remember if we had confirmation on that.
No, because
Um,
the way Matt was making it seem was, oh, you want to be a public servant now, and but that could mean either way because he could be saying
yeah.
that while he's the mayor, or he could be saying that as trying to be the mayor. So like that doesn't.
No, of course. We
So
like
like
I said, I don't remember if we have official confirmation. If in the other trailers
I don't.
we saw him like a victory celebration, or if it's just
It,
him like standing on a podium giving a speech kind of thing.
well, that's the thing
That
where it's like we've seen that, but we don't know if, like you said, if it's a campaign or if it's after the campaign after he's been elected.
yes, I mean
No,
we're
you're
saying the
absolutely
same
right.
thing.
We
We're
are
saying the
saying
same thing.
we're saying the exact same thing. But overall, it was nice to see Foggy. He's got a beard. Everyone
Yep.
else looks pretty much the same. Foggy's the only one that looks different, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Um, and
I
not
mean,
even that. Like,
he's the only one who's had drastic changes throughout all the seasons he's been in. So I mean,
no, that's also fair too. I'm just stating like when you think about like when you realistically, even the last time you've seen them, because you haven't
yeah,
seen them at the very end yet. Not that it's super far away, but I
no,
mean like
they all kind of look the same except Foggy's the one with
the
the changes.
drastic change.
Like I told you before, from season 1 to season 2, he got a haircut, and now throughout the seasons, it seems like he's getting thinner.
Yeah,
Um,
I will say though, the beard I don't think shows up until Daredevil Born Again, so hopefully that ruins everything for you. Um,
shucks.
I know it's gonna ruin everything for Mike. So let's get right on to Jessica
I
Jones.
I just want to say that clearly I saw that coming because of the fact that you didn't try to make it into some kind of big secret spoiler, and that when we first saw him, your initial immediate response was, "Oh my god, he has a beard now."
No, no,
So,
no, absolutely. Which will be even funnier if I'm wrong and in season three he has a beard. I will
oh my
lose
god,
my
that
mind.
would be so funny. I'm gonna text you right away if that happens. I just want you to know.
You're gonna be like, Scott, I hate you so much. Like,
Not even that. It's just son of a bitch.
correct. So speaking of that, let's talk about Jessica Jones season two. So Mike, we talked about this a little bit Friday. Um, my question for you though is, so you thought this was worse than season one. which
Yep.
I kind of have to agree with you. I think season one was just so well done that
Yeah.
it was. It's hard to reach that
It's
level
hard to
again.
top that. No, season one was really good. Season two was a bit of a letdown for me.
That's fair.
It was still good, but I think just the accumulation of how the season went to like we talked about it a little bit the other day, where it was you brought back this character from this past to create some emotional drama for Jessica, but then it
Jessica's mother,
but
by the way, for
Jessica's
those who
mother,
don't know.
yes. But then to then turn around and end up killing her off at the end of it, it's just like, what was the entire point of this? You know,
S-
it
So,
just
so this is where it gets awkward. I'm curious about how you feel about this season after season three. Um,
okay. I mean,
no, because I'm curious because I mean this doesn't ruin anything, but the idea is things that happen in season two change the characters of the people we know for
no,
season three, which you
obviously,
should know,
like
anyway. But I mean, like, I'm curious, like, oh,
obviously,
that's why they
obviously,
did that. You know what I'm saying?
obviously, the point of this season was to cause a divide between Jessica and her friends, to make her alone, and what like that was one of the big things, because obviously Trish and
Malcolm.
I forget her partner's name.
Oh,
Um,
Samson, Simpson,
no. The other one,
Malcolm.
Malcolm,
Are we talking? Wait, which partner?
Jessica, the her
No,
associate, the one that she keeps firing.
Malcolm.
Malcolm. Okay,
No, because you kept going, no, and I'm like, well, there's other partners. Help me out here. I don't
you
know
said
which one.
all you said was Simpson.
I
That
said
was the only.
Malcolm.
I didn't hear you say Malcolm.
Oh,
All
okay,
right.
that makes more sense then.
Um.
That
So.
makes more sense.
So yes, Malcolm was like the point of the season was to cause a divide and make her be alone. So as you
Yes.
see throughout the entire season, she's making decisions that go against them. Obviously, they're making poor decisions that go against her as well, but that's because they were left in the dark. So
Well, that
Trish
and
Trish
Trish
had a
also.
drug problem, but
Yes, and like
um
this was such a weird one because they tackle addiction, right? And to be fair, they showed it so well.
yeah,
I the not even just this series, but the Defenders saga in general has done a great job of taking like real life problems and like emphasizing them and showing them to us. So we've seen PTSD, we've seen um oh my gosh, addiction. We've also seen sexual trauma as well.
the
We've
thing
seen
is too though, we've seen different forms of addiction as well.
well, my point I'm making is when they show this, they show
Mhm.
it in multiple characters to show how drastically different it is depending on the person.
Well,
Um,
yeah. No, so, like, when I'm not even talking about like the drug addiction. I'm talking about, like, for example, with Daredevil, his addiction to they're focusing on his vigilanteism as an addiction,
that's
like you
fair.
talked about before.
No, that's
So,
fair.
like,
That's fair.
that's what I meant by different kinds of addiction, not just a drug or a fix, but like, uh,
The idea is they're all similar but completely different at the same time. Where
yeah,
it's like although you can be addicted to many things, like some of the signs are the same, but then other things are completely different. So it's just
absolutely,
interesting to see overall. I love that. This is the one thing I will say like they've done an amazing job of
yeah.
throughout the entirety, and I can say that I'm almost positive I can say it throughout the entire rest of the Defender saga if I remember it correctly. When they deal with specific traumas or like social issues, they show it in so many different ways that you realize like, oh, this is the reason why it's not an easy fix, or this is the reason why some people have it easier than others. It's because it's different for everybody.
Yep, 100%.
Um,
Like, it was very good. Like you were like going off of that, it's between Malcolm and Trish, the difference between their two drug addictions. Like, Malcolm realized what happened and he said, I need to stay away from you because you cause me problems, which
yes.
obviously he didn't stay away, but uh
No, but the idea was he recognized game
he
recognized
recognized
game.
what happened, whereas Trish was like, no, I don't have a problem, it's perfectly fine, until she ran out, and that's when it started wearing off and leaving her system. That's when she recognized what was going on.
I think for me too was the thing that threw me off the most about that is Trish isn't an idiot, right? So my whole thing is, and she's a former addict. So like
Hmm.
you put those two together, the fact that you were surprised that the inhaler ran out bothered
Yeah.
me a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Um, that
Well,
just
I mean, so like here's the thing: it's like you when you have an addiction, you're just going through the motions until it runs out, and then once it's gone, it's like, oh God, what do I do now?
that's fair. You know
It's
what? That's fair.
like it's not like, yes, she's smart, and
No,
yes, she's been an addict, but when you're getting in that mindset,
yeah,
you're
she's
not
not.
thinking
I
clearly.
was gonna say she's not in the right mindset, and you're absolutely right. Um,
Um,
no, that I
but
can.
I mean, going off of that, like in how she had an addiction in the past, did really like seeing Trish and Jessica's teenage years or late
I was gonna say
college
like
years.
early college. I would
Yeah,
say, but
because we don't
yes.
know. Obviously, that could be 18, 19, 20, 21. So, um,
But oh, just seeing that in general was awesome. Um,
and
like
I really liked seeing the two.
differences between the two.
Well, yeah, the two massive differences in how like Jessica, how Jessica went off on her own because Trish's drug problems just was like killing their friendship, which like
No, it
that
does.
happens.
No, it does. And I think
Um,
the big thing too was I think, and this is also another thing that even Jessica knew at this time. If her saying something isn't enough, then she's got to wait until she's ready.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I mean, look at where she found her at the end in the men's bathroom on her knees. You know what I'm saying? And it's
yeah,
like, no, I think you've hit your rock bottom.
yeah,
And like
absolutely.
we see her like even trying to like prove to Jessica like, no, it's fine. And it's like, think about where you are right now. And
Hmm.
it's like your friend's watching the door, like your friend is watching the door. Like what's going on here?
Yeah.
And I think that was the big thing too. I mean, we've always hated Trisha's mom, let's be honest.
Oh yeah,
We
she
we
never
will
gets any
never
better. I
we will never not like her. She will have short moments of, oh wow, she's trying to be a decent person, and then immediately destroy them.
the the thing with her is that I legitimately like it's a big difference between her and the lawyer, because the lawyer, I get this like mixed thing because she's been through so much that she is
You
actually trying to do good, but just because of how like what she's done for herself, she just she cannot, even though she is trying.
yeah,
Whereas her mother, I just see her and it's instantly, why is she being nice? What does she want to gain? Like it's
no, I agree.
I see very two stark differences. Like I like
Well, I think the big difference too is we've never seen Trisha's mom in a good light ever.
yeah,
At least with the lawyer, there's been attempts to show her in good light, where she's
yep,
trying to do good. She's actually trying to help people. Granted, in her way. Don't get me wrong; it's not completely altruistic, but
yeah,
at the same time, she is trying to help people, and she does know what. I I will say this: out of all the people too, is when she's giving advice, her advice is 100% valid.
yeah.
Even if it's not liked, it is 100% valid. She's never. I don't think she's lied about any advice that she's given. She's lied about a lot of things.
If she is giving like legitimate lawyer like legal advice, she is giving the advice to the best of her knowledge. So if things are not
Based on what she
exact,
knows,
yeah,
what's going on, and unless there's something that she's not aware of, which she does say multiple times to Jessica, is there
yep,
anything else that I'm missing? Because based on this, this is what we need to do. Because if there's
exactly.
something else, it's not going to work. Like even
Like at
with
the
the
beginning of the season when Jessica got arrested, like she said, like this is what you got to do. If you don't do this, you're staying in jail. Like I know you don't like it, but this
no,
is
and
the
that's
only way you're going to get off free.
and I think that's the one time. I think that all joking aside, the one of the main reasons why she keeps Hawthorne around is because as a lawyer,
Hmm.
she is the most honest, which is so bizarre to think about.
Yeah.
But when I mean honest, I mean like when she's giving legal advice, right, and to her clients, she for sure makes sure that it is the most sound of the knowledge that she has at the time, and she's very good at making that very clear.
Hmm. Of course.
I
Um,
also like the fact that we have her old secretary charging her with sexual harassment.
Yeah, yeah.
She's like, you saw what she was wearing, and I'm just like, and then everyone else is just like, you realize how that awful that sounds? And she's like,
I know.
but no, it's just funny because it's like, because if she were a man, and I'm being very honest here, the conversation wouldn't even be a conversation. So it's even funnier, in that sense. But
Oh
she's
yeah, no. I
just,
mean,
but she's
obviously,
saying,
with the with
she's also saying the stereotypical man thing to say when being charged with sexual harassment, which
it's one of it's a typical person in power preying
oh,
on the
absolutely,
weak.
oh,
So
absolutely.
obviously, like it would, especially in. I mean, I don't know. Today's world, it might be a little bit different, but just because she is a woman, it might be getting you like.
But
uh
also remember, a woman back in 2017, 2016, 2017,
That's what I mean. Like it might be a little bit different back then. So
because COVID, man,
because
COVID
she's still in
changed the game.
power, she might still be able to get away with it. But um,
Well, I mean, realistically, she has. I mean, what I mean by that is she has not gotten in trouble for it yet.
yeah, that's
Um,
true. Yeah,
that's more of what I'm getting at. But yeah, so and technically she's thriving because she's starting her own legal team again.
yeah. I mean, there's obviously catches to the reason. Like there's reasons
Oh no,
why
no, there's
she,
reason.
but
No, there's reasons why. Yes, but what I'm
so I
getting at
wouldn't say she's really thriving, but
well,
because
no,
she
she
has to
still
start
has
from the
land.
ground up again.
Well, no, she's got 68% of what she was making before because she has the
Let,
Rand
let,
account.
she has the Rand account, but what I'm trying to say is like she doesn't have what she had before. So yes, she
That's you
took
know
the
what? That's
Rand.
fair.
She took her big accounts,
The
but
biggest account. She let
she
them keep everything else.
yes, but now
So
she
yeah,
still has to start over. She can come back because she has the name behind her, but if things get out of why she split and why she's starting, what's going on, she might not be as well off as you think she is because of.
no, that's fair. But also too, she might use that as sympathy. You'd be surprised. You got a lawyer who's got nothing to lose except for their. Think of it this way: she's got a reputation on the line. If that's all she has, because that's why she's doing what she's doing, you're more likely to use her because she's gonna fight hard to get what she wants, aka
But
you.
at the same time, because of the disease that she has, don't forget it's money, people's money on the line. If she makes a mistake, then they lose everything.
I mean, that's also true too. But um, I'm very curious on people's thoughts on disability back then. Because I don't take Hawthorne's reaction to the disease well. The reason why I say it that way is because it's affecting her
Mm-hmm.
specifically. So you're automatically going to be negative about it, regardless.
Oh yeah,
Um, I'm curious about the rest of the world. I mean, everyone else just feels bad. I mean, even
yeah.
Jessica's just like, oh, like,
Well, no, obviously now because she finds out that something's wrong, she's willing to help her because she
right,
realizes what's going on, what's at stake.
correct.
She just assumed that because obviously in
To
the
be fair,
past,
she had reason to think so.
yeah. But like I said, one of the main things about this season that wasn't too crazy, like I had said before, is like Simpson. He kind of was a non-character this season. It was like the amount of times we saw someone with their head twisted backwards was
Can we not only
was
talk about
wild.
not only that, but how easy it was done? Like it wasn't even like it was like just literally like
I mean, she has super strength, so it makes sense. But like,
correct, but still.
I can understand. So let me put it like this: understand why it was easy for the nurse to get her neck twisted. Simpson getting his neck twisted very easily, a bit more shocking.
I
Definitely
I
had,
will agree, especially with him puffing.
yeah.
But
Um,
I will also say this because we're talking about Simpson. We're gonna move on to talk about Trish a little bit. And at the end of season 2, what did you notice?
I'm not remembering. Please remind me.
She drops her phone at the end of the season.
Oh, she's got powers. Yes, that I meant to ask you about that. Thank you.
So now, will she be a hero, a vigilante, a villain? What will she be?
I meant to look that up, and I completely forgot. So, all right.
I'm not gonna lie to you. So here's the thing. If you look her up, I think it'll come up as the show, so you got to be careful. because I don't think the character that she becomes, like based on the comics, I'll say it that way because this doesn't ruin anything.
Okay.
You will never get the connection unless you look up the show. If you understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because the character in the comics, it doesn't match what she becomes.
Like so like they're different characters that they're making, like they're doing their own twist on it, or it's just like a completely different character.
They, I'm under the impression they put them together. Like Trish is a comic book character, this character is a comic book character, and they went.
Okay, yeah, so like
That's
they
more of what
did.
I'm getting. Um, Unless they changed it since because of the show, but
Mhm.
when the show came out, this Trish was never this character,
Okay.
to my knowledge, unless there was something hidden that I did my due diligence. I looked.
Okay, no, that's fair.
But no, that was the big thing. So I
Yeah,
will tell.
I meant to look that up and I completely forgot.
Well,
And
I'm kind of glad you didn't because it will um ruin it just a little bit.
okay, that's fair.
Um, wait,
I I
am I wrong? Hold
I
on.
think it's interesting too that she has this fix on being the
Oh, I am
hero.
wrong.
Oh, okay.
Nope. She. All right. Never mind. She does become that character in the comics. Then why did I think this character is male?
I mean, it's possible that they just did the multiverse. You never know.
Yeah, but to start off as female though. Well, no, but to start off as female and then go male, I'm kind of
Oh,
surprised.
so they started off as female. Oh, okay.
No, that's what. No, that you understand why I'm like thrown off for a minute. I was like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
something's not making sense. But that makes more sense. Um, okay, so never mind. So I mean, you can look it up. That doesn't ruin anything now because I've just told you.
Oh, either way. But
What?
no, I mean, I thought it was interesting that I felt like this fix to be the hero just kind of came out of nowhere for her as well. It was like a character arc that
Well, I'll
like
say it this way.
you didn't get any real hint of it in season 1. She wanted to make a difference, but now all of a sudden like it was like, oh, she wants to be in the front line. She wants to be like her boyfriend. She wants to be like Simpson. She wants to be like
All right,
Jessica. Like that.
can I say it why I feel like you're not at 100% accurate in this? I feel like her
Yeah.
show was much more popular and was making a difference at the time, and in this season it was not. So this season her ratings were dropping. She's
Yeah.
not making the impact that she wants. She failed her interview with the newsroom, which is what she wanted because it was going to make a difference. And so
Well,
her next
that was after her, like we found out she wanted to be like Jessica.
well, she wanted to be special. And so like whatever special meant, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
okay.
so I wouldn't say I don't think she ever how do I want to phrase this? I don't think she specifically wanted to be like Jessica, but she wanted to be she if she had the powers that Jessica had, she'd be using them much differently. I mean, she said that a million times.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, like I think the main
Mainly
idea
this
is
season.
like definitely the season, but she also said it in season 1 too. Um Specifically towards the end of season 1 where she was kind of like, if I had your powers, I would have already killed him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he would be dead. Um but my point I'm making is just the fact of like I feel like she wanted to be equal to Jessica,
Hmm.
but not necessarily super, if you understand what I mean. I don't think super was automatically what she went as mentally. It was more if she wanted to be special. And to her, that was acting, that was singing. Then it became a talk show host. Then it wanted to be a news reporter. Now it's because everything else failed. And now she has the opportunity in her mind to become permanently super,
Yeah.
permanently special. That's where she wanted. Because the option never presented itself, she never did it. That was also the reason why she started puffing, because she became special that way.
No, no, no. That the taking the enhancer definitely. I understand that.
And it's not a drug because it enhances.
Yes, you're right. um,
No, that's her excuse the entire
that
season.
that's the excuse of a that's an excuse of an addict. Steroids aren't a drug; they just enhance your gameplay.
Do you see my gains? You see my gains? Look at these gains. Don't look at the
But
scars. Don't look at the scars. Look at my gains.
It just felt like it from season 1 to season 2, I felt like it just took a massive jump. And yes, I understand your point of because her show was failing, there it like she was becoming desperate. I get that.
No, and here's the thing,
Um
Mike. I get it that like the jump to superhero was still a drastic jump for me, but like her wanting to be like Jessica was kind of always there. You're just taking it literally now because she wants superpowers. Because Jessica was a nobody who was special. You know what I'm saying? I know that's, but that was a
yeah,
common theme
yeah.
when she was a kid.
No,
You know
that
what I'm saying?
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Um
I'm saying
It
that.
just got more showed this season because of the fact that
Well, it definitely was very much highlighted.
with the
Yeah.
flashbacks, and then obviously as she was recovering from the procedure, the what she was saying to her just constantly like you should have never gotten your powers, it should have been me, blah 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 blah,
No, absolutely.
really,
Yep.
really, you're really
Actually, I was looking up. Actually, I was looking up Hellcat. I actually promise you that, which is her character's name.
okay, uh-huh,
No, I
okay.
was.
Go ahead, seeing that I'm boring you, please take the lead.
All right. No, what I was saying was so basically I wanted to see how long she's been in the comics, and she's actually been in the comics what looks like longer than Jessica.
Oh,
Trish.
okay.
So it looked like she started in the 50s, specifically
Hmm.
55, but then became the the superhero in 75.
Interesting.
So like she was a character. She was Trish Walker from like the 50s to the mid 70s, and then no longer just Trish. She then became the character that
She
she
becomes
becomes,
Hellcat.
which is
Yeah.
Hellcat.
Okay.
Um,
That's cool.
no, but it just threw me off because what it showed me, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it showed me like four different like introductions to the character, and I went, that doesn't make any sense. How can it be 55, 65, no, 55, 60, 65, and then 75? Because the 75 made sense to me because that's when she gets introduced as the new character, but all the
Yep.
others were Trish. So I'm like, what happens? And I was trying to figure that piece out, and I did figure it out. It looks like it has to do with the different companies that owned her, because it wasn't. I don't think it was officially Marvel at the very beginning,
Oh,
or at
okay.
least it
Yeah. I
wasn't
mean,
with
that
Marvel.
definitely happens a lot. There's a lot of DC characters that were
But all,
introduced from other
but I was
companies that
also,
then they
but I
got
was
bought
also going to
out.
say too,
So
this was also in the 50s, so like Marvel, I don't think was Marvel yet. I think it was like American Comics, wasn't it?
I think we looked this up
Oh,
last week, I believe.
I'm sorry,
Marvel.
I lied to you. She was actually um 44.
Yeah. I was gonna say like they became because DC and Marvel became like who they were very close together, and I didn't remember if it was the 30s or 40s. Um,
But yeah, no, so that was the big thing, and I mean her name has been the same. It's been so it's been Patricia Walker, which later becomes Patsy, which doesn't ruin anything.
we know.
No, no, I know. I'm just saying, like, so I don't think I registered her actual full name is Patricia, not just Trish.
Oh yeah. Okay, that didn't actually click either.
No, no,
Yeah.
that's what threw
That
me off.
actually did not click. Nope.
No, it didn't. So I'm like, so anyway, you can understand my point. So I do apologize, but when you go on those sites, sometimes an ad pops up and there's music, and I don't like it. Um, but that's
but
actually where I was, because I
uh
was curious because I was like, I thought I remember him. I remember Hellcat being a male when I was a kid, but I might be thinking of a different character that
also
also was a
possible.
cat character because there's so
There's a
many
lot
of
of
them.
those.
I know, which I think is the other reason why I assumed it was a new character.
But I'm curious where season 3 goes. Obviously, I am taking the hint that now the lawyer is going after Jessica because she hired Chang, I believe that was his last name, to
Eh,
and Malcolm to
Malcolm.
go after her.
So
Um,
I will at least say this: if I remember correctly, season three. I can't say it's darker than season one, but a lot of dark stuff happens, and I definitely think it's darker than season two.
okay,
And it's very much Jessica Jones coded, which shouldn't ruin anything. It's like detective focused
yeah,
more, which again, stuff you already know. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I
I
would
also
say
think
it's more so now that she doesn't have the side characters to take that away.
can I also say too that season two was less detective-y, which I think might have been another reason why it might not have been as good.
Also,
Um,
probably.
but
It was
again,
it
I'm
was a
not.
lot of, like I said, it was a lot of emotional, like, oh, what do we do? How do we solve
Yes.
this? Like, like not actually. She was avoiding the detective work and
Yeah. No, I
more
agree.
more
Absolutely, I agree.
personal reasons, which
To be fair, made sense based on where they were going.
yes, with the way
But
the story went with her
ruining
mother,
the.
and like I was looking really, I was looking forward to go at the end of season one, the IVF. That was the company name, right? IVF,
IGH.
IGH. Um, I was looking forward to more getting more into that, and with how it went, I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, we
Um,
really don't get to see IGH like we wanted to, and um, that's kind of the big thing. Um, because it was
I,
kind of more. You know what it was? It was really more. What I was expecting when I first saw this was it to be similar to like Weapon X, like the
yeah,
weapon facility.
yeah,
Um, and it turned into more of like this is her mother, and it
yeah,
was, and that's where I kind of was just like, it
and then
wasn't,
it, and then
it
it, and
wasn't,
then it made
it wasn't
and then for
horrible
me it
like you
made it
said.
worse because of the fact that then at the end the mother ends up dying, and it was like, okay, what was the entire point of this whole season?
Also, can
Uh,
we talk about how Trish has really good aim?
I mean, we've seen in season one that she's taking self defense classes and looking out
Well,
for herself. So
but also she's technically enhanced at this point.
I didn't see it that way just because the drug had ran out.
Well, no, she just got out of the hospital because she got the big enhancement, the permanent enhancement.
Also true. That is true because
The reason
it
why I'm
didn't.
saying
Yeah,
the reason why I'm
yeah,
saying it is because it was a handgun and it was at the top of the Ferris wheel,
yeah. I mean,
and she
was it?
shot it.
I didn't know where on the Ferris wheel it
I thought
was.
it was the
So
top. I mean, but regardless,
she got
it
shot. It's a good aim at the end
the
of the day, no matter
that's
what.
more of what I'm getting at, right? Um, will that play a role later on? We'll have to wait and see. Um, just look up the character, and you'll know what they're capable of. But that's pretty much. I mean, season two. I mean, season three. I mean, you're. I don't think you're anywhere close to being wrong. Is it starts off, I believe, with Jessica by herself, but I think it also starts off too, and this doesn't ruin anything because we saw it at the end of season two. Was Trish still trying to build that relationship back,
Yeah,
and then Jessica not wanting it for legitimate reasons.
very
No, no,
understandable.
I
Like
am not disagreeing with it whatsoever. I 100% understand. I'm just stating like that's I think where the dynamic starts, right where it leaves off in season two.
I liked the cops in this show too because or
Yes.
at least the main one. I don't remember what his name was. But the one that ended up getting killed, I didn't like her. Uh,
No, I agree. I
but
agree. But her
which was the
partner,
point.
we like. No, no, I agree.
But him, like, I love that he was actually taking an emotional side with her because one, she saved him the first time, so he trusts her.
Well, he's also
Eh,
one of the few people who still has a job after the Kilgrave situation because
well, is
he was
still
supposed.
alive.
Well, no, I'm talking about specifically the scene where they're pointing their guns at each other in the that's what I'm talking about because he
No,
brings
I
that
know,
he bring
I know.
he brings up that particular thing. Did you hear that
Yeah,
noise?
no.
Good. It was just in my headphones then.
Oh,
Um,
but no, yeah, like, well, that's what I mean. Is like he trusts her because she saved him, and she but like he was willing to go out on a limb, like put himself out there to back her because of the trust he had in her.
yeah.
Um, and I loved that he tried to get to Trish when it was like when she was in the hospital, and he was like, you would think that someone who tries to get a second chance with her mother, she would try to do anything for it, despite all the bad that she's done for her. And it's like, I would think that you would know that better than anybody. Uh, obviously because of her relationship with her mother. Um, so like, I really liked that, and despite always he always was trying to look out for her. Despite all the evidence pointing against her, he tried to do his best to give her the benefit of the doubt. Um, you okay?
I'm actually looking up her mother in the Marvel
Oh.
comics. Um,
Yeah, it's just like looking over and I just see you like hyper focus on the screen and like I'm like,
well,
is
no,
are
no,
you
because
frozen?
no, I'm not frozen. It's more the fact of it was more the fact of I was curious about what like her mother was like. Her mother's not dead in the comics, which I find to be interesting.
Okay. Um
But she's not like the show. She's not like the show. I'll say it that way. She is basically think of Trisha's mother being
yep.
condescending to her daughter, and that's Jessica's mother. She like criticizes her for why did you marry Luke Cage? Why did you have a daughter with him? Why are you trying to raise a daughter when you're both fugitives?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nothing at
So they went a
all.
different they went a completely different
Com-
route with this.
completely different.
Okay.
Completely different.
Interesting.
But yes. So that's I mean I don't know what else did you want to talk about for season two.
I think for the most part, season two is talked about. I think for
I
season
agree.
three, obviously, most of it is looking into season three. Obviously, Trisha's going to be trying to get her friendship back. Like you said, Jessica's not going to be into it for the beginning. I have a feeling something's going to happen that's going to gain their trust back again. Well, not fully. It's going to be
Uh,
one of those things where it's like, I'll work with you, but I can't ever trust you again.
and are we gonna
Um,
see another big bad in the street level saga? We'll have to wait and see for episode one of season
I am
two.
very the one thing that I'm very curious about is what Malcolm is going to do if he's going to come back with her because obviously he doesn't like the idea of the whole uh legality of what they're asking him to do. Um and I have a feeling like if it's obviously involving Jessica, he's going to be very um doesn't at the end of season 2 he doesn't look very comfortable. I'm curious if he's going to be I'm done with Jessica, screw her, or if he's going to eventually come back to her.
I'm also curious too because I'm wondering if he's an associate or if he's more of a um, freelance still. I know she Hawthorne says he's an associate, but he Chow himself never says he's an associate. So I don't remember if he's actually 100% on the team yet. He might.
Okay.
That doesn't ruin anything
Yeah.
because I legitimately don't remember that detail.
Yeah.
Um, it like I said, it doesn't ruin anything. I don't remember Chow ever saying it. I remember Hawthorne saying it, and
That
then
was his name, Chow. Okay.
and none of them kind of confirmed or denied.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of that season, it's just that we're assuming that he went to go work for him,
Yeah, no,
and
no, absolutely.
you know,
Regardless, he's working with him or for
yeah,
him. It doesn't really matter. In that sense, it's just a matter of they're together. That was the main
yeah,
point of that. And then all right, so then you ready to move on to Harley Quinn, the greatest episode that I thought was going to be crap. This is
yeah,
we talked
yeah.
about this.
The,
This was the first episode where I actually started the episode going, this is going to be awful, and turned into an actually really good episode.
yeah. No, we said this. It's like we started the episode. We were like, oh great, this is going to be a very boring filler episode because it's just going to
Before
be
this,
wasting time.
can I say one last thing and then you go on your tangent? This
Go
was
right ahead.
also a very meta episode.
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh
All
yeah.
right, go right ahead. Sorry,
Oh so. But no, yeah, like the episode started with just like they're gonna be filling episode, trying to get Brainiac's attention, no big deal, whatever, and then it just took a twist, and like I said when we recorded Friday, I cannot forgive Harley Quinn for killing off Frank. I am so mad and I'm so heartbroken.
well, not
Just
so. Let's be honest. Harley Quinn did not kill Frank.
no, I'm talking
The
about the show
show.
in general.
No, no, I know, but we have to be specific because she is also a character.
That's fair.
No, because I want to make that very clear. But I 100% agree with you. I was not expecting that. So there were so many things I wasn't expecting, right? I think the best part was Lena Luthor was meant to be all the comic book fans because she's like, why is everyone feeling bad for Brainiac? Brainiac shouldn't feel bad.
Oh
You
yeah.
shouldn't feel bad for Brainiac. And what killed me was it didn't make sense to me right like immediately until I realized, oh wait, we all feel bad for Brainiac because of
Yep.
the prequel episode, or like the, you know what I'm
Yep.
talking about. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my god, she's literally the fandom who's like, Brainiac's supposed to be a vicious creature who's trying to take over Metropolis. Why do you people think of him so fondly?
why are we giving him sympathy? Why are we making the audience feel bad? Like,
He is a monster. They're using him as a plot point to make us feel bad for him. We should not be doing this. And I'm like,
and I love when the like talking to Poison Ivy. It's just like, well, yeah, we know that he's a
yes,
bad guy, but you
but
know, like
like,
he's got such a tragic backstory.
but
Like
like, look at
you
what
know, you have
happens to
nothing to.
Coco.
Yeah, it's like stop it.
But it's like he doesn't know that Coco's dead. And she's like, that doesn't matter. Like it
Oh my
shouldn't
god.
matter. Um,
Uh
this season.
and I said that last episode. It's like why are we feeling? I never thought in a million years I would feel bad for Brainiac. And it was like that. It was like that. And I said the same thing with how it was like it's a similar twist to what Kite Man was with Darkseid. It's like you actually think Darkseid is a good, decent character, and it's like no, they are terrible characters.
No, you're absolutely right. And like, and the other thing too was when Brainiac spoke to us, I was like, oh, we're here. We're already here.
Yep.
We're
Yep.
we're beyond the point of being crazy, because he's like, what am I, crazy? And then all of a sudden Clayface starts singing, I am crazy. And he goes, I only have you to talk to. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I saw that and just like that shiver down your spine. It's like,
I
oh
literally was
no.
like, what is happening next? I was expecting him to do something, yes. Not what he did. I was
Nope.
expecting him to start the invasion that we saw in the trailer, and what we got was Frank being killed. And I was like, why does this world hate me?
No, I was expecting him to just like come down and just start killing people. I wasn't expecting him to make it personal. And then after, and then it cuts the scene, and it goes back to him, and he's like, "Now she understands my pain." I'm like,
Well, you know
"You
what's funny?
sick?"
I legitimately didn't think he did it right away.
Yeah,
Meaning, like, I thought it was somebody else. Oh, we're going in a completely different direction. Okay.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Brainiac's like, now she understands my pain. And I was like, oh, no, he did it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I 100% agree. And
It was so well done. I was
just
so mad. I was more mad that it ended because I wanted more.
oh yeah,
Don't get me
it's
wrong,
like now
was a
what's gonna
perfect
happen
episode.
next?
Don't get me wrong, it was a perfect episode. I wasn't expecting it to be a perfect episode at all, but this definitely pushed the plot significantly forward. This was definitely an episode where it was like,
Yeah.
we thought it was going to be very similar to the episode before, where nothing was really going to be pushed forward, and everything got pushed forward, and I was not prepared for that.
Yep, and like I wasn't expecting Harley and Lois their partnership to be so quick. Like
it worked
so like
so
it was
well.
only like huh?
But it worked. No, I was going to say, but it worked so
Oh,
well.
yeah, no, it did work well. Like I said, I just wasn't expecting it to be like 5 minutes into the episode, and it was like, okay, it's done.
I also like the fact that Harley knew immediately that it was Clayface, and nobody
Oh
else
yeah,
does.
just
She's like, I know it's you, but it doesn't know that Clark Kent and Superman are the same, but could
Yeah.
tell a shapeshifter when she sees one.
Well, in her defense,
she does explain it. She does.
Yeah, it's like very much like you got your voice, you got your singing, you got your bad teeth. It's like
no, I get it, but let's be honest. Like
no,
based on other things, like she's, and again, she's also worked with him for a while too. But I'm just stating, like, that's the other thing where it's just like, even Lois doesn't know that this is Clayface. Like nobody else is noticing this is odd. But like, Harley Quinn is just like, Clayface. Do you want?
And I love that Perry White is just being held captive, and like he's like getting
spritz.
Yeah, and even Bane picks on him. It's like, how bad can you be that Bane is bullying you?
How about this? When he starts talking, he goes, Bane's like, you're obviously not a good writer, because you would have known when Clayface left the room, the scene was over. And then it ends. And I was just like, oh, wow.
It's
so well done. Bane, I've always loved Bane, don't get me wrong. He's gotten better over the years, for sure. But he has become my favorite by
Oh,
far.
he's one of our favorites in this
I mean,
universe.
he
It's
was
just,
put over the top in Kite Man, and then now plays a major role in Harley Quinn, and I love
yeah,
it. Clayface has always been
I wouldn't
an
call it a major role, but it's like,
well. I'll say it this way: he's definitely got a bigger role in Harley Quinn than he's had in a while. We can at
oh
least
yeah,
say
I
that.
mean yeah,
Um, but no, you get
but
my
like
point.
it's not like he's not like a
No,
main
no, no.
character, but it's just like,
I understand that, but you get my point where it's like, but he's playing a bigger role in Harley Quinn than he has. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Um, but just Bane as a writer is hilarious. And he's like, I swear to God, if this doesn't go well, I'm gonna make the whole place exploded. Um, and it's like it's just so perfect. And I just love all of it. This episode was just so good, and I love Lena being like, I wanted them to do something, and Poison Ivy's like, yeah, this is what they came up with, and it's
Yeah,
like, really, and I
and
love, I,
obviously Lena is a bad guy, and but still a good guy.
it, I, yeah, I'm kind of on the fence of what I describe her as.
But so like she's definitely a bad guy because she wants to take over Metropolis. She wants to be control
She
of
wants to be the
Metropolis.
one in charge of it, yes, for sure. I agree with you on
She
that one.
is only going against Brainiac because he broke her promise to her.
Yes. No,
So
that's also true too. Like that's the big thing too, where it's like she's only doing this because she wants to make sure that she gets what she wants, and then the
yeah,
fact that she doesn't get what she wants, she doesn't want Brainiac to get what he wants because she
exactly.
doesn't want to deal with hemorrhoid cream with Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's very much like so. Obviously, you were incorrect with that. She is no. She I guess you were incorrect and correct because she wanted to. You were saying like, oh, she wants to stop him, but she can't.
Her plan was not to stop him
Yeah,
uh, initially. Now it
and
is.
obviously, like it's going against what her comic book character was, where she's like mind controlled so she's very aware of what's going on.
I was half right. I'll say it that way.
Yeah,
It was one
uh,
of those things where it's like I got a piece of it right, but definitely not the whole thing.
yeah, definitely.
Um,
And obviously now she's seeking the help of Harley Quinn because she wants to stop him, but it wasn't the direction that you were originally expecting.
no, I agree with you 100%. And
But
that's kind of my thing.
Harley Quinn continues to be good. Great episode. Took a twist that wasn't that we weren't expecting, and made this show like it made the episode so much better because
It
of it.
it was. You're
I now
absolutely right.
want I now want Brainiac to die a painful death because of what he did to Frank and what he took from us.
Well,
So
that's the whole thing where it's like, how do you make him hated again? And
no,
they
but
did. No,
you
but I
know
mean, like we loved
it's
him,
even
and then it was like, and we liked him, and we felt sympathetic for him, and we felt bad for him, and then they were like, I
no,
mean,
but no, it made it even worse because of the fact that we gained more sympathy because he became aware that Coco was actually dead.
they cranked it up
And
to 11 and then was like pulled it away like, hey,
yeah.
you just felt bad for a guy who killed Frank, how do you feel? And you were just like, I hate myself. I hate myself.
It's like, how could we be so gullible?
I mean, honestly, I feel the same way because I'm like, damn, like how do, like realistically, when you think about like, oh, we felt like the most, how do I want to phrase it? Like sympathy for Brainiac, one that we've ever felt ever in the history of comics. Let's start
There's
there.
never been any sympathy for him.
Agreed, but you get my point. And like the fact that they cranked it up to the highest degree that they could, and then we're like, haha, he killed Frank. Hate him now. And you're like, I
Yeah.
do hate him, but I feel bad.
I am so conflicted.
It's like everything you get. It's like I think the best part too was the killer for me was when he goes mom, and I was like, oh, right in the chest. I was like, oh, you didn't need to say that. Honestly, if they didn't say that, I don't know if I feel like that hit me harder
I
than
mean, I still felt it because it
no,
was like,
no, I
it's
agree. No,
Frank.
it's still Frank, and I agree. But I keep forgetting, like, because he's got such a old voice type thing that
Yeah.
he is actually like the son of Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
And think about this too. The last episode, Frank was like, "I'm ready to go."
Oh
I'm like,
yeah,
"Yes!"
they teased it so bad, and
They
it's
did such.
absolutely insane. I completely forgot about that, actually.
He's like, I'm ready to go. These old bones are ready to go. And then he's like, nope, I'm not. And he goes away. And then it's just like, oh. And then the next episode, they kill him. I'm like, oh, I'm so sad.
I
I'm so
can't. I
sad.
actually completely forgot they foreshadowed that, and I'm so mad.
I didn't know it was foreshadowing. Put it that way, all right? We don't know until we get there. But they did such a good job, and it pisses me off. This season, honestly, I'm arguing is the best season of Harley Quinn. Again, it's not finished, so I'm not. But like, it's leading up to possibly being
I don't think it's the best season. I still think season 1 is the best.
okay.
Um,
I think their
but
writing has significantly gotten
it,
better,
it
though.
it's gotten so much better since 3 and 4.
Yes.
This has been a jump back.
This has
Like
been like bringing us back to the beginning in the best way possible.
yeah, no, they did a good job reviving this series for me at
No,
least, because
no,
like I've said, I was
I'm
very
agreeing.
disappointed in 3 and 4. So
This
uh,
this one was definitely more of um this one was definitely more of like what I was expecting us get Harley Quinn, in the
yeah,
sense of like it pushes the story along, we get to know new characters, we get like more Harley Quinn's like chaoticness, but at the
yeah,
same time like it's well written, like we don't know what's happening next.
yeah, absolutely. Like
They've
obviously
done it,
now they're actually going to be going after Brainiac because of what happened. So I'm curious what's going. What
but at the
I'm
same time it's like will they? Like, meaning, like, I hate saying it that way, but it's like I know that's the goal and everything else, but like now I'm curious of like where we going. But this also explains why Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy stay, because the plan
mhm.
was them running away
Yeah.
after, and clearly Poison Ivy's not going to run away now.
Oh no! Now she wants to kill Brainiac.
And you know Harley Quinn's not going to let her do it alone. So,
hmm
all right, well that was Harley Quinn. It was an emotional episode. Um, Frank's dead. If you haven't seen it, well, guess what? Frank's dead.
Spoilers.
Frank's dead. He's dead. He's dead, dead. He died on the stage, and then he died for real. They foreshadowed it twice, and I'm pissed.
Actually, they did.
Because they made him the Coco. They made him the Coco and then killed the Coco. They killed Coco twice. They killed him so many times. Anyway, enough of Frank's
Too
death.
invincible.
Let's go to Invincible before I keep talking about a dead plant. Which is another thing. It's a plant! And yet I feel so bad. Oh, they did such a good job.
The two characters that we feel the most sympathy for is a plant and a monkey.
A dead monkey. Not even just a monkey. It's a space monkey, but it's a dead space monkey. And you feel
Yeah.
bad for dead space monkey. Ah. Anyway, so Invincible. So this episode is pretty much um, showing us the crime syndicate more than anything else. So for those of you who don't remember, we have Titan, who's the guy who can make his skin as hard as rock,
Mhm.
or like a rock casing. I keep forgetting exactly what it is, but it's basically like a rock shell.
Rock shell. Yeah.
Um, and he gets talked to. Well, he's already been talked to once, but he gets talked to by the head of the Assassin Guild, um, again about wanting to get Multi-Paul out of there. And he's like, "Well, I tried once, and now they have Invincible as their guard." And so what happens here is Invincible and Eve want to get their apartment but need a job, so he goes into the private security firm business, and he offers himself up to a high security prison. And let's just say his first couple of days on the job, lots of exploding and things blowing up. Can we just talk about that for a minute?
Yeah. Really.
Like, it. Don't get me wrong. Not that they never happened, because they did happen, but they
Mhm.
didn't happen that frequently until he came on
No.
the payroll. Hmm, little
Well.
awkwardness there. I mean, it wasn't his fault. We know that because we see the outside, but like just the coincidence of it all. So anyway, also Viltrumites can't defeat mystical things. Interesting enough.
Well.
No.
Uh. Well. No. So we will say Mark cannot. We don't know if uh
Well,
Omni
let's.
Man
We
Omni
well,
Man probably could.
well, we saw him go through the dragon's head, and then put itself back together. So he, I don't think a Viltrumite, unless they go find the body, which they'd have to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? They're they're not going to be able to kill the dragon by itself. The dragon itself cannot be killed.
Okay. Yeah. Probably not. Yeah.
That's more of what I'm
I
getting at. That's more of what I'm getting at. I'm not stating like he's so invincible that he can't be defeated. I'm saying I don't think the Viltrumites are going to think to look for the body.
I'm actually very curious about that because I remember seeing I was online and I saw a scene of when the dragon was attacking the city, and Debbie and Omni Man were on vacation,
It
and
wasn't the
Debbie
same
was
dragon
like,
though.
"Huh?"
But it wasn't the same dragon.
It looked the same.
Okay, that's
It
fine.
looked very similar. So I don't know if it was like the same guy or different, whatever. But he was
That's fair.
um. So Debbie was like, "Oh, go. Are you gonna go fight it? Are you gonna go stop it?" And he was like, "No, I'm on vacation." Like he didn't really seem nervous about it. So it's possible that he is aware of how to beat it
Well,
because there are so many.
he might also be aware that the dragon by itself could not be defeated, but he would
Yeah,
have to find the host. Because I would
because
imagine
there.
he knows. Because I can't imagine him not knowing a lot of stuff,
Mhm.
um, on Earth. But I'm wondering if that's one of those things where it's like that could be it. It could be the fact of like it's just awkward because it's like we didn't have like a concept of the dragon.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like we see it heavily, obviously, in this season, but we don't. We're assuming it's the same. We're under the assumption it possibly is the same dragon, but
yeah,
apparently there might be more than one dragon too, which is also another confusing thing that I don't think we'll ever find out anytime soon. And it won't be until like season 8. Um,
yeah. But you have to also remember too that you're comparing Mark to a full strength Viltrumite, which I still don't see him at that level yet. So,
I I think my point I'm making is Viltrumites are physical
well, yes.
and
Plus,
physical.
also, plus also, did he go through the skull of the dragon? I thought he had just like punched it and he
Went
thought he
through it.
knocked it out.
No,
He
no,
went
no.
straight through.
He went straight through because we see the hole in its head, and then it turned into like blue smoke and pick himself back up.
I mean, I remember that. I just didn't remember him going straight through. I thought he just like punched him and then like
Oh
left,
no,
and he
he
was like,
like
oh,
he
okay, it's
literally
knocked
went
out.
through it, and then like it
Okay.
crashed down. Because he had to use all his force. Like I will definitely say that like Norton, Nolan would be able to like go through it with ease.
Hmm.
But what I'm getting at is physicality alone is not going to kill the dragon. Is more what I'm getting at. Uh,
Plus, also the other thing too is you're thinking it in a logical sense where okay, you go through the skull, it's going to die. You don't know, and there could be other ways to kill these mythical creatures in this universe. There are so many times where it's like, oh, the
that's
brain
fair.
is in a different location, or
That's
he just
you know
might
what?
need to, like,
That's
he
fair.
might if he rips it,
I
like,
took it as, and this is how I took it, and I could be wrong. How
no,
I
you
took
have
it
to
was
kill the body in order to
like the
kill it.
spirit leaves
I
his body, and the spirit
Yeah,
is indestructible. Doesn't
yep,
mean it's invulnerable, because if you go to the body, I mean, we saw how quickly the dragon went away, and that
100%,
to the
one hundred
simplest
percent.
thing, by the way, to the
Yeah,
simplest thing. I'm just stating like that's more of what I'm getting at is the sense of like a Viltrumite his only skill is physicality,
yeah.
physical strength. Physical strength was shown to not be enough to take out the dragon as a dragon. However, you figure out what needs to be done. It's easy. I'm not saying
I will. I definitely like. Obviously, the surefire way to kill it is to kill the host. Not questioning that.
there could
I
be
guess
another
what I'm
way.
saying is there could
There
be
could be
other
another
ways that,
ways.
like for example, like with Immortal, you kill him by ripping his head off. You could do that. Possibly could do that with the dragon. We
I
didn't
get.
see that.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair.
The only thing we saw was Mark struggling to fight it. And my thing is that if maybe it was Nolan or another Viltrumite who is stronger and more trained and more disciplined than
I
Mark,
don't think they'll have a problem with it. I think it was
yeah,
more the fact they wouldn't be able to kill it. Is more of what I was getting at. I'm not
yeah,
saying that when I say they couldn't kill it, I'm not saying that the dragon was stronger than them.
yeah. But I mean, either way, like I'm not. We don't know.
No, you're absolutely right. It's
I
speculation.
am going with because we don't have confirmation. The At the moment, the only way to kill it is by killing the host, which
But
even still
apparently,
can't kill
even
it
then,
because he got revived.
yeah, I know. So anyway, the whole point of that was apparently was to overthrow the Assassins Guild. Um, and apparently the idea was to get Titan wanted Machine Head out of prison. um, and and then they were gonna all kind of work together to take out the Assassin's Guild. Because the idea was they thought Mark, aka Invincible, was going to be able to take out the dragon, which I don't think. I think Titan might have thought so, but then Machine Head knew. Well, no, actually, no. Titan did know
I
because he saw the dragon come,
Well, yeah, what I was gonna say was I don't know if they actually thought that Invincible would be able to defeat the dragon.
but it definitely
More
bring the
along the
dragon
lines of
out.
to keep him, yes, keep him busy while they deal with the head
Bodyguard,
assassin.
the Nebraska,
Um, yeah.
Nebraska.
Which I have to
So
say, I cannot believe that he survived falling from the sky onto the building with just like a broken arm. I was like, when I saw him come back again, I was like, wow, you are one durable monster.
well, for a second I thought it was a different, like it might have been like a twin or something, and then I saw the arm sling,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
was
no,
just like,
exactly. I was like, oh, okay, it's another. It's he had a multiple bodyguards, and then I saw the
that's
sling. I was like,
that's exactly
okay.
what I thought. So I'm curious about them in general because because he had the dragon spirit as well, so I'm very curious on that front.
Yeah.
Um,
Um.
Granted, he gave it to his master, but I'm just saying like he had the dragon spirit as well.
Mhm.
Which means there's the potential of multiple dragons.
Multiple dragons. Yep.
Um, Paul,
Or just
Paul,
or just or just some. It's like one entity that split his spirit into multiple hosts to
okay,
protect him.
Okay, Voldemort. Um,
Hey, why not? If it works once, why not again?
well, he did it 7 times, but yeah. Um,
I meant in different universes. Like
no,
if
I
it
know what
worked
you
in
meant.
one universe.
I was just being a jerk. The other thing too was so Multipole also escaped.
Yep, he did.
Can we also
Um,
talk about him attempting the escape the first time? The most disgusting way to try to escape. He literally just made his duplicates just duplicate until they popped. Literally.
you just commit suicide until so the place can't hold you guys anymore. Like that, absolutely crazy. And
Such a weird way to go, too.
it's such a different, like it's a difference in personality between
Him and
Paul
Kate.
and Kate, because Paul just sees his duplicates, his copies as like, yeah, whatever, you guys are expendable, whereas Kate feels every death and like feels pain every time they die.
Well, I think the other thing too is we don't know if he doesn't feel that as well, but he doesn't care about it at the very least.
That's kind of what
No,
like when I say he doesn't feel it, like
well,
he
because
just
he's not.
shrugs it
Well, because
off.
he in his mind, and which isn't inaccurate, is he's the real one who cares about the
Yeah,
rest. Which again,
no,
I
absolutely.
get. I absolutely understand. I'm not saying I agree with it 100%, but I at least understand it.
Hmm.
And so we have all that going on. Then we have. I honestly thought Oliver was going to kill some kids, teenagers,
I thought so too. Yeah, I have to say, I actually really liked seeing Oliver making friends, and they knew that he had powers,
and knew that he was purple because they had eyes.
uh,
And
but it was like such a drastic change between how Mark and Oliver was raised, because it's like Mark had, everyone, it was a secret until it was no
well,
longer a secret.
Mark also didn't have powers at that age either. That was the other thing. So that
But
also
no, yes, I understand that, but like I guess what my point is like no one knew that Omni Man was Omni Man until Mark was telling people. Whereas
well, oh yeah, well we don't.
whereas then you had Oliver, just like with, it's obviously it's a difference in age as well, because it's like kids 8 years old is going to be like, oh my god, this is so cool, whereas someone who's older is going to be trying to exploit it or whatever.
No,
uh
absolutely, absolutely. I also just like him pantsing the kids, which is hilarious.
yeah.
Because I literally thought, because I love Eve being like, no, he's got this, and Mark's like, no, 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 that's not why I'm afraid. I'm afraid for them. And I was
Yeah.
just like, oh wow. And I'm like, oh, he's gonna kill these kids. He's gonna kill these kids, and then pantses them, and I was like, oh, thank goodness.
I really liked that. It was such a kid thing. Like he was actually being a kid, and
No,
it
I
was so
agree.
wholesome.
It was well done. He got us to like Oliver a little bit now. He's also
Yep.
gotten older. in this one episode too. Um, they make a point to show that. I also love Debbie telling Mark that she knows that him and Eve are having sex,
Oh,
and
I loved that. It's
Mark
like, I
just
know you guys aren't watching movies.
and he just cleaned the whole house. He's like, "Great talk, mom. Bye. I gotta go." And it was just hilarious. And
I loved that you sent me that text about with in the comics with them flying out of the room, and it's like studying no, sleeping my ass, and then it's like you said, I hope they do this in the show, otherwise I'm going to be very disappointed, and they did that in a little twist.
they did it in a different way, but it still worked, and it was
Yeah.
just hilarious. No, it was perfect. Um, Again, plot wise, I don't know if it necessarily pushed anything really forward.
No,
Um,
not really. We didn't see anything with Nolan and Alan.
or the
Um,
Viltrumites in general. We also didn't see Cecil at all, so it's like we don't really.
Although we talked about Cecil because Mark was having doubts about being able to handle things, and he said, "Should I go back to Cecil?"
Oh, that is true. He was
Um,
mentioned, but I mean, like, but you get my
and
point.
we saw Rex becoming
Domesticated.
yeah, domesticated, less of an ass. He spent 12 hours cooking dinner for
Shrinking Ray.
Ray. Thank you.
Which
So
I do have to say was very wholesome. The
yeah,
worst part of the dish was not something he made, which is hilarious, which was literally the wine. And
yeah.
it's hilarious to me because that makes sense.
Hmm.
Because I would imagine after centuries that wine has gone bad.
That wine has gone very bad.
But you do want it to age. But to the immortal, I wonder if it tastes good. Like that's the weird thing. Because his
I mean,
talent.
I'm assuming Immortal just had it kept there for memory's sake. I mean, obviously, like
Who
he didn't
knows?
open it.
I mean, he's just a weird guy too. Like let's go there.
I
Um,
mean, he is, but my like, yeah, obviously
Also,
he didn't.
also we forgot to mention Duplicate and Multipol's dad went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs,
Oh yeah,
when they were kids.
and that caused the divide between Kate and Paul because
Yeah,
Paul saw him as abandoning them, whereas Kate was like, "Listen,
they were
it's
like
not his
six.
fault."
He had two kids that turned into 48. Like
Yeah,
it was not something he could handle. And to be fair, I feel like I probably would do feel the same thing because it's like at that point as a parent, which one's my kid?
yeah. No, I mean it's not. That's definitely not something easy to handle, and
No, I agree. But
um,
that's more of my thing in that sense. But yeah, that was Invincible. So you ready to move on to Spider-Man? Spider-Man.
what do you think?
Spider-Man.
Do you have any predictions for what next episode is going to be?
I have a feeling we're either gonna get Nordstrom or we're so Nordstrom slash whoever was watching him,
Hmm.
because obviously the assumption is it's Nordstrom because somebody read the subtitles, but the idea is seeing like getting it confirmed, but or the Viltrumites come back.
I have a feeling that we're going to either see the Viltrumites or I don't think he's going to Langstrom is going to play a major role until kind of towards the end.
Okay,
It's just to remind
well aren't
people
we
that like
already
he's
almost towards the end?
what episode
Aren't
is this? Episode 4?
Isn't it 6? No, wasn't this 5?
Oh no, yeah. So this is going to
So
be episode 6. So what I mean is like episode 8. It was more along the lines of like
I
where
get it.
he's there,
I
he's
but
still watching.
I feel like we'll get. Let me rephrase it this way: we're gonna see him again if he's gonna play a part in episode 8. I don't, and I think we as an audience member are gonna get confirmation that it's him. Like we're gonna see who it is, meaning like which Landstrom.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? That's more
That's
where
fair.
I'm getting at. But we'll see. I'm very curious. I will be honest with you. I don't know where the next episode's gonna go. This episode
Yeah, we
started.
didn't really get any hints for this, so it's like
No, there
it's
was no
tough
even.
to.
I even looked to make sure that there wasn't an after credit.
No, there wasn't. Actually, was not. I was
No,
actually surprised. It's just I think this is
but
like the first one that didn't have an after credit scene.
it was. No, it was. I'm also curious too because I'm wondering because we actually get to see the thumbnail for all the shows now, all the episodes.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. No,
they
no, they recently let out the last episode, episode 8. It's up.
okay because when I looked
When it
last
first
week, it
no,
said
so
it just said coming soon, so that's why.
oh well no, it still says coming soon, but it's got the oh you mean the thumbnail was coming soon?
Yes.
Oh no,
Yeah.
they have it now.
Oh,
They
okay.
have it up. It's like, what have I done? Question
Because
mark.
it showed
Which
the
gets
next
me
couple
terrified.
episodes. It said coming soon, so that's why I didn't.
Okay. I mean, we know what's going to happen in the next episode a little bit because we're going to see new villains.
Mhm.
But that's it. That's all I know.
All right. I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
And
So
also,
it's been good so far.
I'm saying villains. They could be heroes. I don't really know. They could be
True.
the new people added to the Guardians.
But yeah, no, it's been good so far. I'm looking forward to the next episode, and
I
I'm
just
glad
want
that
more
there's no
Cecil.
break.
I want more Cecil.
I do want
Um,
more Cecil. I do want to see what he's plotting. Um,
but he's actually a good guy, like 100% good guy. Instead of me questioning whether or not he's a good guy or a bad guy.
I mean, here's the thing: is he's always been a good guy. It's just the
Well, I'll say
methods of
this.
how he
I
was going to do that.
Yeah, and I think the whole idea too was I have much more respect for him. I mean, we've already talked
Yes.
about that.
Oh, you know, I actually want to say this. I going through the comments on like after like each episode of Invincible and after his backstory, the comments are turning around and going like, uh
Mark's in the wrong and Cecil's right. I saw a
no,
lot of that.
they're
I actually
turning
saw a
around and
lot of
saying the other side. They're
I
saying
actually
Cecil is wrong and Mark is the good guy. And like everyone hates Cecil so much more now. They're like, yeah, I have no more faith in Cecil. I'm like, what?
you know what's funny? I saw the exact opposite.
Really? Oh, I'm
Yeah.
seeing nonstop. I mean, granted, I'm on Twitter and it's all about hate. So I mean,
Oh,
it's
so
no.
I'm also not on X. Or no, I'm sorry, Twitter. We're gonna call it Twitter
Don't you ever
henceforth.
call it X?
I know. It's been long enough where it's starting to seep in. I don't like that. But no, my point I'm making is just the fact of like I've seen a lot of comments being like, "This is." It was more of like, "Wow, I've never seen me go from." A lot of people like the comments I saw was, "Oh, I never thought I would be on Cecil's side and not Mark's." That's
No,
more
yeah,
a lot of
no.
what I got.
Everything I'm seeing
The
is like
opposite.
I'm so over with Cecil. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Um,
But
but yeah, I mean, like I said, it's good. I'm excited for the next episode. I'm excited for the rest of the season. Let's be
yeah,
honest. There's 3 episodes left. I really don't know what's happening.
hmm
Some sort of doomsday. I mean, I'll tell you what it shows. Like Cecil hurt in it, and like I believe the caption on the bottom, like the name of the episode, is like, "What have I done?"
okay.
So Cecil, it gives the illusion that either Mark's done something bad or Cecil's done something bad.
They made someone has made a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, it also could be
Okay,
Nolan for all we know. Like realistically, it's
true.
not like it's obvious that we know, but we'll have to wait and see. But
And
let's
he is. I mean, Nolan. It would make sense also with Nolan because
no,
he's
but
constantly saying, "What have
that's
I
why I
done?"
brought
Because
that.
he's turned on his people.
That's why I brought it up because
Yeah,
although they show Cecil in the thumbnail, it does not mean it's about him.
it doesn't mean him. Yeah,
Yes, and that's
absolutely.
more of what I'm getting at. So I'm just like I wanted to make that clear too. Um, but yeah, so that's my kind of thing on that. So you ready for Spider-Man?
Yeah, let's talk about the season finale of Spider-Man.
Yeah, how do I want to phrase this? The first, so the opening credits for the ninth episode was Scorpion holding the piece of the white suit.
hmm
And
which was misleading. I saw that. I was like, that's interesting.
well, it makes sense because they didn't want to show the red suit until it was out, which makes
Yeah,
sense. I get it. So then we have Nico listening to the voicemail of Peter Parker being like, "I'm sorry I didn't tell you I was Spider-Man. Like, would you believe me? How would I tell you? I didn't want to lose you as a friend." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, Peter, like,
yeah.
that's exactly how I saw it." And then he saves her from the truck because the 110 Street Gang knocked down all the cops out of the way and smashed the Oscorp bus, where they then try to steal as much equipment as possible.
Mhm.
However, Scorpion and his gang shows up, and that's when Spider-Man has to fight Scorpion again after getting uh, Nico out of the way.
And he had a little bit of PTSD at first when going up against him.
Yeah. No, he definitely did.
Um,
And we also have Tombstone as Tombstone.
Tombstone is becoming.
Is
Yeah.
almost the Tombstone we know. He's getting there
Yep.
though. He's got it on his fingertips.
He's got his fingers, but
Which we'll talk a
I
little
think.
later.
I mean, I don't know too much about him how he is in the comics, but I mean, he's still like I guess
Possibly.
kind of like a decent guy, whereas like he's still trying to do good, whereas the Tombstone I know is just like looking out for himself.
Well, I also think too, and I know this is going to sound weird to say too. I think years of not feeling anything
I
makes you
mean,
not.
like I
So
said,
like,
this is just him becoming Tombstone,
yeah. So
whereas
like
he's not.
he's still human.
He's still
You know
young.
what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I hate saying it that way, but it's like, but you understand what I'm saying. Like it's one of those things where it's
Yeah,
like he's he's human enough still where we're not seeing the tombstone that we're expecting yet. I think we're
yeah,
definitely going to get to that point, but I think it's going to have to be once he stops feeling, or when he completely
yeah,
becomes white. I don't know. Excuse me, or gray. I think it looks more gray, but you get my point.
yeah. Either way,
It's too
um,
early to tell because it's just little spots right now. But season two will definitely see more of it for sure. There's no way we won't. Because it hasn't been that long and he's already showing signs of discoloration. We're gonna
mhm,
see heavily go into it next season for sure. But anyway, so we get the fight of Scorpion and the team up of Tombstone and Spider-Man, which I was not expecting.
no,
Also the fact that Tombstone's able to break the tip of Scorpion's tail, the stinger, if you would.
because he's indestructible. So,
Yeah.
um,
Um, and then and then Spider-Man loses his stuff, and then Tombstone stops him from killing.
yeah, and which is like one of the things, like because obviously he's still young, because he still has hope. He's still trying to do good, and he's like,
Yeah,
Spider-Man, you're hope for people. If you cross this line, then all that's gone. Like, you have to be the
agreed.
symbol of hope for us. And
Too many people
I
look up to
absolutely
you.
loved that.
Too many people look up to you, and I think that was an
Yeah,
Uncle Ben moment without Uncle Ben.
yeah,
I will
absolutely.
say I will say that it works out perfectly. So anyway, so that was pretty much that episode. Um, in the sense of, that was pretty much the end of that episode. It was the
Mm.
next episode that was the big reveal for me.
No, this episode was incredible.
I was
It
not
had it
expecting
had I was not expecting these twists. I
episode
was
9 was kind of okay. Like it wasn't
Yeah,
bad, but like when you compare it to episode 10, it was kind of just like, oh, I know why you did the two episodes.
yeah.
Um,
No, episode 9 was just like, okay, it's just like the rest of the season, where it was like, okay, it was good, and then
yeah, it
episode
wasn't
10 was
great.
like, wow.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree. So episode 10, we get Osborn calling all the kid scientists up to the restricted area to use all their functioning together to show what their science has been used for. And
Hmm.
that it's going to be a portal to open up into space so they can then gather materials to then create more space things. Um,
To bring the fight to the enemy.
yeah, but the idea was they were going to use the elements and the power.
They wanted to use the elements of space to be able to gain advantage over their enemies, but they also wanted to be able to go attack their enemy if need be.
Yes. So before the
Um,
portal even opens up, another portal opens up and brings out none other than Doctor Strange. And him going, I don't know what you guys are talking about Midtown for. He goes, I live in, I forgot what he said. He said
yeah,
something borough. And he's like, I've never been to Midtown. And they're just like, and all of a sudden, Norman's like, we have eyewitnesses. And Peter's kind of just like confused because it's like, there's no way somebody would forget that. So
yeah.
in his mind, he's like, something's not right. And
Hmm.
then it turns out it was right. It just was him
Hadn't
being
happened yet.
correct, which was, but it did happen, but it didn't happen for him. And
Yeah.
it's a whole cluster, right? So we also got to see, so anyway, the real portal opens up after Doctor Strange gets knocked down by the same devices that are used against the Incredible Hulk in the Incredible Hulk. Um, the portal opens up. We have the creature come out, the symbiote covered creature, attacking everyone. Everyone runs away. Peter goes and gets changed, and then Spider-Man comes out to help Doctor Strange fight. And I think my favorite thing is, well, who are you? And he goes, I'm Spider-Man. He goes, I'm strange. And he goes, not as strange as what's going on right now. And
Yeah.
I just love that we still keep the interaction of Doctor Strange and Spider-Man to be funny
Mhm.
because he's technically telling his real name, which is still funny as all heck,
Yep.
and that Spider-Man doesn't believe it.
Yep. No,
Um,
I love keeping the quirks of Spider-Man, like, when he's fighting or teaming up with people, you got that humor because he tries to make light of the situation.
Absolutely.
Because he's a
Um,
kid.
no,
So,
absolutely. So then we also see Spider-Man using his brains. And when I say this, we don't normally see Spider-Man, at least in recent renditions, of Spider-Man using his brain as Spider-Man. We normally see it just as Peter Parker. So we see Spider-Man actually what?
no, yeah, I'm like, yeah, yeah,
The last time
sometimes,
I
yeah.
remember seeing it was in the animated series.
I kind of see it a little bit too with, I mean, the games. So, I mean,
Oh, okay, okay. You know what? I didn't consider the games as being a part of it because
that
that's one of
that's
the things.
why that's why I was doing the head bob because, like, in the universe, the Spider-Man just relies on, in the movies and shows, Spider-Man relies on, like, his abilities,
Yes.
where and then Peter Parker designs the stuff for Spider-Man, and then they don't really interact, but in the games they kind of
Yeah.
mesh it together.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But I get your point now. Why you like hesitated? That makes more
Yeah.
sense to me.
But I
Um,
mean, in the MCU Spider-Man, he still was kind of techie, just like wasn't to the extent that we can get in the comics and
and
whatnot.
I think that's the bigger thing. I think this is the first time we've seen it like full on. I'll say it
Yeah,
that way, at least in a while. But anyway, so he's going to do that, and then Doctor Strange decides to keep the creature distracted. Opens a portal, falls down into Midtown, which then, which is also trippy, is that the spider that bites Peter Parker in the past is created because of Peter Parker's blood being used.
it was so confusing because it's like, where did it start? Where,
Well,
what
no, it always happened. It always happened. Um, because
what
it's
came
one of
first,
those.
the chicken or the egg?
Well, no, it's one of those things where it's like when we talk about time travel in general, for something to have happened, it had to have already happened to begin with. So,
Yeah,
like, the reason why nothing changed for Peter Parker or Spider-Man in that universe is because what happened was supposed to happen. So,
yep,
like, nothing major changed happened other than what already we know happened, which is Peter turning into Spider-Man.
yep.
Um, and so it wasn't an interdimensional spider; it was a time traveling spider.
Which
Um,
is hilarious because they said it. I think that either you or the show said it. It's like they were experimenting to try to recreate Spider-Man, but they
and they
had
did.
Spider-Man the entire time.
They did, and they just didn't know it.
Yep.
They created Spider-Man. Which to be fair, Oscorp is normally the ones who created Spider-Man to begin with. So
Yeah.
that in and of itself doesn't ruin anything. It was just more the fact of how they did it with the time travel and everything
Yeah,
that
the
they
the,
applied.
the endless loop that never.
Um, and so yeah, so then he brings them back into the present, and then they open up the portal. Then we have the massive symbiote.
Hmm.
And then Peter's like, switch, switch, switch. And Doctor Strange is like, I got this. And so they do it again. They throw him out there, then they destroy the portal and it shuts down. But a little bit of the symbiote makes it out, as it always
Hmm.
does.
As
And
always. Yep.
as always, right? So so then that was pretty much the end of the episode. Hear me out. Then we have what I consider to be the after
Post
credits
credit
of
scene. Yeah.
yes, even though it really wasn't, it was part of the show, but you get my point. So we have Harry Osborn, who is going to start his own company with all the young scientists to do whatever they want without the how do I want to phrase this? The distraction of adults.
Mm.
Um, and so he calls first off, he has a list of a lot of kids' names, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know most of them. In fact, I think I knew two of them at the most. Oh no, that's a lie. Three. I
I mean, we
should have
knew
been
all.
four. Should
We
have been
knew
four.
we knew all the scientists that were with him. So I mean,
Yeah. So I mean that's going on. So anyway, apparently Chow,
I don't remember.
the Asian kid,
I know who you're talking about. I don't remember
he's
his name.
apparently got a spot as part of the engineering group in
Yep.
Oscorp.
He just, like, disregarded that email and was like, "Yep." And he's apparently very well liked in Oscorp, so he's being
Yeah.
treated well.
So then we have the Wakandan girl who looks like she's going to join, although not completely 100% known. Peter
Hmm.
Parker's obviously joining. Did it feel like Nico was getting an email too, or do I feel awkward on that one?
I don't think she was.
Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Just because it was her idea. That's why I'm wondering.
Mm.
Um, Anyway,
I mean, she's probably a part of it, but like
but
not
not part of
like
the email. I got you.
yeah.
No. Which makes sense. It makes sense. Peter Parker obviously gets it. Then we have um, the other girl that apparently was working with Daredevil the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
in her comic book accurate costume. Um, and she's like, "Oh, what do I do?" And he's like, "Well, at least go in and check it out to see what's going on." And she's like,
And what
"Okay,
was
I
her
guess
name
I'll go."
again?
In Wait, now like her real
Both.
name or her
Both.
costume name?
Both.
Janine Foucault. I could be pronouncing it wrong.
Okay.
In her comic book, her costume name, her vigilante name is Finesse.
Okay. Because like I said,
And
I did look it up, so I just didn't.
and that is my character spotlight, which we'll go into in a little bit. Anyway,
Yep.
you'll see a lot of similarities. Surprisingly, I'll say it that way. Um,
Good.
no, it's very good, but I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting it to be so almost accurate.
I
Um,
wasn't like criticizing you or whatever. I was just saying, oh,
But
that's
I'm just
good.
saying. But no, I meant like I was just surprised because of what we were witnessing. I did not
Hmm.
realize. I mean, like it's minor changes, but you'll understand when I go through it. But overall, so we have her, and we also find out that she was working with Daredevil the whole time, and she's going to join. We then have Tombstone showing signs of gray / whiteness on his fingertips. He's also left school and is working on his GED, and I'm putting that in quotes because I don't even know if he's going to be really doing that.
Yeah.
Um, and he threw out his Letterman jacket, which proves that he's done with the school.
Yep.
Which we kind of figured anyway, but it's
That
now
was
logo,
it
and
was sad. That was
he's now the
sad.
leader of the 110 Street Gang.
Yep. They all because he took charge after Dawn after the Dawn left. So
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that happened. I thought they were gonna kill him off, not make him run, but it
yeah.
worked either way. Because I have
I
a
mean,
feeling
I feel like they'll probably it's something like
he'll
maybe in
try to come
season
back.
two, like
He'll
yeah,
try to
they'll
come
come
back, and
back
then
or they'll hunt him down, kind of thing in season two. But
yeah, we'll find out. Or he tries to make a brand new gang, and they're like, "No, this is the 110s area. You need to
yeah.
knock it off, Don." Um, so yeah, so we have that going on. We then also have um, Nico talking to her mother through the pendant.
Hmm.
Um,
Which she is aware of her abilities. So like I
More so
think
than we
that's
thought. More so than we thought.
I thought that obviously that was a big thing, but it was hypocritical.
I didn't realize we were at the point where she knew her powers.
Yes, I thought
I'll
it
say it that
was
way.
when we first saw the powers, I thought it was
It
like
was accidental.
it was accidental and she wasn't aware of it. But now going into the end credit scene where she is very aware of what's going on, so she is pissed at Peter for keeping a secret, but yet she is keeping her own secret from him.
Well, she also made it seem too like, oh shoot, like I got to tell him at some point in this episode too.
Definitely, I mean definitely.
But yeah,
But
so that's kind of the big thing too. But
and then the biggest thing of all, Peter's father is alive
and in jail.
and in jail.
No,
So
you're right. Yeah.
very curious about that, learning about more about that in season two.
Well, there's been
Um,
times where they're just him and his parents are Shield agents, which has been shown in the past as well.
yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying in general, like I'm curious to see
Oh
what they're gonna do in this show.
no,
Um,
absolutely. Um, I yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. I'm just very curious in the sense of like what's going to happen in general. But overall, like yes.
I am
Um,
also pretty happy that they confirmed that the creature at the beginning was in fact a symbiote.
yes, no, they did.
Because you
Well,
weren't positive it was that, but
I'm still wondering if it was still the creature covered in it.
I mean, it obviously was because
No,
that's.
I agree, but what I'm saying is, I'm still wondering if it's still that creature that I thought it was, but covered
Mhm.
in the symbiote. And then the other thing was just the symbiote.
Oh yeah, obviously.
That was no question
Um,
there.
but
Um,
I am glad that we
no,
got
it was
confirmation
definitely
on that.
confirmed. Well, I think that makes more sense now too, because it's like, why have we not seen them again? And that makes
Mhm.
more sense because it never happened yet. But yeah, so great lead up to what we're going to be potentially seeing in season two. Um, and I'm
Yeah.
very excited for it. So for now, let us move on to my character spotlight. Janine Foucault. Could be pronouncing the name wrong. I don't care. So,
It is acceptable.
so Born with the ability to master any skill quickly, her parents rewarded her for any activity that brought them money, status, or acclaim. She's aware of her parents had a shadowy past and suspects that her real father might be the Taskmaster, but has no proof beyond the similarity in their abilities.
As soon as you said she masters her anything that she sees, I was like, oh, so she's Taskmaster.
Well, so the idea is she has no proof that it's her actual father, other than the fact that they share the same abilities.
Yeah.
But she always suspected that her father wasn't a real father, and it was actually Taskmaster. So she
Okay.
graduated at MIT at the age of 14 and was trained in becoming an Olympic athlete when she was approached to join the Avengers program. She welcomed the chance to expand her knowledge, and because her rivals were attempting to have her banned anyway, while the other members of the Avengers Academy were tortured by Norman Osborn to expand their powers, she never was. All he had to do was offer her the chance to learn something she could never learn otherwise, and for this, all her instructors regarded her with suspicion because of this. So, in the Avengers Academy, Norman Osborn's removal from power following Siege, the Avengers Academy was handed over to Hank Pym, who took it upon himself to undo Osborn's cruel tutelage and encourage the students to be happier and better heroes and humans. Janine was consequently recruited to join the newly formed Avengers Academy alongside other young potential heroes. Metal, which is Ken Mack, Stryker, who is Brandon Sharp, Vale, who is Madeline Berry, Reptile, Humberto Lopez, and Hazmat, Jennifer Takata. She and the rest of the class were led to believe that they were among the most likely to become heroes. However, because they're students out of school, they decided to break in and look at their personal files to reveal that they were picked because they were the most likely to become villains. After viewing a documentary on Quicksilver's life, she guessed that she was never replaced by Skrull, by a Skrull, like he claimed to in the media. I'm sorry. After viewing a documentary on Quicksilver's life, she guessed that he was never replaced by a Skrull, like he claimed to in the media, and used
Okay,
this
there we
knowledge
go.
to. I know I screwed up there, and
Yeah, no,
used
no,
this
that one
knowledge
sounds a lot better.
use
Sorry.
this knowledge to blackmail him into teaching her everything he's learned as part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. She grew close to Quicksilver and was quick to defend him after Magneto paid a visit to the Academy. In the course of an inquiry into Jocasta's murder, and argued with his son. Whilst successful for the most part, Janine continued to behave in a very much the same way, pursuing knowledge, physical prowess over human interaction, thus alienating herself from others who came in to view her as a cold individual. When X-23 joined the academy, the two girls found that they shared similar disposition and emotionalist rationale, and were regarded as outcasts, which got them closer together and became as what close to friends as two people could in their kind of, I guess you would say, world. So during the
Their
Avengers.
situation.
Yeah, during the Avengers versus X-Men conflict, when a Phoenix-empowered Emma Frost came to the Academy to destroy um, Justin Sentinel, Janine and Laura stood up to her and defended the other students. Laura, obviously being X-23, for those of you who don't know. After Hazmat received a call from Briggs saying that he had found a cure for her and Metal's condition, both of them came to Briggs, joined by Lightspeed, Stryker, Finesse, and X-23. Veal Vale revealed to the students that that she had been cured by the alchemist's new invention, Clean Slate. Metal and Hazmat took the cure, and then Jeremy revealed his true intentions to wipe every single superhuman, off the planet to repower only the people who could use their powers appropriately. Jocasta tried to stop him, but Briggs switched her body to a locked office. And after defeating the depowered Reptile, White Tiger, Lightspeed, Finesse, and X-23, Briggs extended his offer to Metal, Hazmat, Stryker, and Vale, who accepted. Jeremy Briggs, however, revealed his true plan was to revealed his true plan to Vale and Stryker, his plans to remove all the superpowered beings, only allowing the worthy to possess them. Vale ran to Metal and Hazmat and persuaded them to take the so-called antidote and and restored their powers for good. Metal and the group confronted Jeremy and his accomplice, the Enchantress, which was Sylvie. So, evil Loki. On the rooftop of the building, White Tiger and Reptile draw on the power of their magic, gaining extreme upper hand on the Enchantress. Sensing her defeat, she teleported away, but not before getting her face slashed by the White Tiger.
So I want to just sorry, I want to clarify real quick. So I thought Sylvie was a MCU original character. Is that wasn't the case?
She's not considered a Loki, she's considered an Enchantress. So in the Marvel comics, Sylvie is an Enchantress, not a Loki, I guess is the best way to phrase it.
Okay, so she's
So like
MCU
yes,
original in terms of being a Loki,
a
but
female Loki,
she's
yes.
has a past of okay.
So like realistically, like Sylvie is considered to be Enchantress, even though
Mm,
in the show she's Loki.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, just think of it that way. It's easier to kind of think of it that way because you're right. Um,
I thought I remember because that's why I was confused because I was like I thought she was brand new. So okay,
yes and no.
technically
Um,
yes.
yes, exactly. X-23 did some slicing and dicing of Briggs, which released an acidic attack on her stomach, destroying it in the process. Finesse noticed this as the perfect opportunity to use X-23's hands as weapons. Finesse grabbed her wrists and stabbed two of Briggs' most important arteries. He sat there bleeding to death. He freaked out, and tried to stop the loss of blood by cutting off the flow. Finesse reminded Briggs about why they were recruited, that they were at risk of being villains, and as she said this, she untied the cloth that had been keeping Briggs from bleeding to death, and walked away as he died. When the students graduated, Finesse immediately hit the databanks to test out her new security clearance and loaded beta files. Um, in the Avengers arena, it was revealed that Finesse went to her parents during Christmas, and thus was not abducted by Arcade like her other friends. She had made an appearance again when Pym became suspicious about the number of missing super teens who were left from various schools and superhero lives, but again, wasn't Finesse. Excuse me. Finesse and Stryker were chosen to represent Avengers Academy against the other superhero schools in the Contest of Champions, where they were in attendance at the introductory ceremony when it was interrupted by Thanos' invasion. She was among the young heroes who assembled in Central Park to fight Mother's Army of Evil, other dimensional other sorry, Army of Evil, other dimensional young Avengers. After not being seen for a while, she eventually joined the criminal organization AIM, which is known more to be a part of MODOK and Dr. Otto Octavius, and fought against uh, Nadia Von Dyne and her girl being an acronym, organization a couple of times. But when AIM's leader, Monica Rapacini, abandoned her and a fellow AIM, she recruits Seeker and Brilliance. The trio decides to deflect and were recruited by Girl, and Janine, sorry, was last seen training Priya Agrawal, who gained superpowers and needed to learn how to defend herself. So let's talk about. So that was the last time we had seen Finesse. So Finesse is a new character, new in the comic book standings. She was created in 2010.
Oh, okay.
Her powers are what's called polymath. It literally is a person of great and varied learning. Finesse possesses an advanced intellectual capabilities where her mind instinctually, automatically, and with little cognitive thought performs complex mental operations that are far beyond the capability of a normal human mind. She's tested negative for the X gene and any other paranormal powers. Fun fact for the kids. She has intuitive intelligence, she's her intelligence is drastically and dramatically enhanced, and has as of right now a limitless capability of learning and memorization. She has an intuitive aptitude where she can instantly learn and understand the complexities and exactness of organisms, objects, subjects, fields, and powers at amazing speed without the need of long-term special education. Perfect. I'm not even gonna. She can duplicate any physical act after seeing it done. She basically is a good mimic. She can also
Hmm.
reperform subtle muscle movements with flawless accuracy, precision, and subsequently to observation, she can perform any physical act without difficulty. She has also mastered multiple martial arts by just watching movies. However, her biggest issue that she has is she has a social deficit. She struggles with things like empathy and patience with normal human people.
Makes sense.
And as always, the power grid's out of 7 in Marvel, and her intelligence is a 4 out of 7 because it is gifted. Her strength is a 2 because it's normal. Her speed is a 2 because it's normal. Her durability is also a 2 because it's normal. Her energy projection is a 1 because it's none. And her fighting skills are a 5 because she has mastered um, so, she's mastered the form of combat in general.
Okay.
Um, Other than that, I mean, her comic book. So the suit we saw in Spider-Man is pretty much comic book accurate to what is in the comics. Um, and that, my friends, is finesse. So the reason why I said it
Nice.
kind of fit closely to it is because she was trained by Norman Osborn. Granted, you would argue that she technically wasn't trained by Norman in this, but she also was at the same time.
Her the intellect part was,
Yes,
and
and because of her abilities, she was able to learn a lot from Norman, so she was trained by him, but not
yeah,
in a way that we would consider,
not in a not in
not
the
in a
typical
typical
sense.
sense.
Yeah,
But yeah, so that was also very similar to like the Avengers Academy because he was trying to get young people together to try to um, get a superhuman group or at least get the edge on the world
yeah.
um, to be able to stop what's going on. So in a weird way, he did create the Avengers Academy, just not in a way he was expecting, and
Hmm.
definitely not in the show like he would assume. He made it seem like more of an Oscorp think tank, which it was. I'm not going to
It
argue.
was just
Um,
it was a little bit extra.
but he didn't realize he had like vigilantes on his team. Obviously, he knew about one, but there's going to be more later on. But for
Yep.
now, that's going to be it. So next week we're going to be talking about. Correct me if I'm wrong. We're going to be talking about Luke Cage season 2. We're going to be talking about the latest episodes of Harley Quinn and Invincible, and that's it. Correct?
Yeah, Harley Quinn, Invincible, and then I believe it is Invincible. Not Luke Cage.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's Luke Cage season 2, because it's Luke Cage, then it's Iron Fist, then it's Daredevil.
yeah, that's right.
I remember.
I'm proud of you.
It happens every once in a
So
while.
I am curious. So this is the end of Luke Cage.
Yes.
So I am curious
So
how
this is the
what.
first one that's going to be done.
Yep. So I'm curious how this one's going to react because I know that people were very upset, obviously, with how it ended. Um, if it ends on a cliffhanger or if it, you know, I'm assuming it left on a cliffhanger because obviously, if it upset the actor so much, clearly something happened. But yes, I know you're giving me that look. I am talking as my way. All right.
I have no idea.
You know what's funny is that you say you don't have any idea, but with your track record of remembering how each season has gone, you might not actually remember.
No, I do remember how it ends. No, I actually do remember
um,
how it ends.
but I've been seeing a lot of posts that apparently Marvel is again, which we knew, reaching out to all of the Defender Saga actors and actresses
Except
to see
for
if they will reprise their role. Um, so far, well,
except for Iron Fist, he
this
has
is
not.
they're doing another wave of asking. So for
Oh,
all we
sure.
know, they
Okay,
could,
they could
you
this
know.
time. He's never been
So
on
I
the
know
asking
you
floor.
said, huh?
He's never been asked before. I'll say it that way.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't said the post that I've been seeing hasn't shown who they've asked, but it gives us a little bit of hope that Luke Cage actor said that he wasn't coming back, but he could change his mind.
Jessica said she would come back if she was asked.
Yep.
Um,
Um,
and then Luke Cage was the only one that said no, to my knowledge. From what I understand, everyone else said yes, but nothing was confirmed on like whether they would actually be back.
yeah. Now, so like
Because like think
because
of it this way,
the
like Punisher was confirmed too. Like, oh, I'll come back in a heartbeat, but we didn't know he was going to be in Daredevil Born Again. We thought he was going to be his own
oh
villain.
yeah, yep,
He still
absolutely.
can
But
be
like that's the
technically.
thing is what I'm saying is that because now that this is a second wave and they're seeing that the shows are coming back, maybe the Luke Cage actor will change his mind because in his head he was just pissed off that how they ended it, and now
And
he
his
could have
show,
like,
and his
oh,
sh- the, well, the other thing too is the show that he was on just ended too.
oh, okay, I didn't know he
Because
was another show.
when he was in a because when he was asked, he had just started a decently hit like supernatural show, um
Oh,
and it was doing really well, and he didn't want to give that up.
oh
He
yeah,
also made it
obviously.
he also made it clear too, like he didn't wasn't happy how it ended. So why am I going to go back? Blah blah blah. But I'm wondering because I'm not saying he doesn't have work. I'm saying that the thought is he doesn't have work
Yeah, I
because
mean,
the show just ended.
his schedule is more free now.
That's more of what I'm
So
getting at.
yeah,
So it's like I'm not thinking he got a chance to go, like, get into something new right away. So he could
yeah,
potentially be added in. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
yeah.
Like I said,
Only
next
time
week
will tell.
it's going to be Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Harley Quinn, Invincible, and a character spotlight from Mike, and any trailers that pop up. And also, Mike, remember in April we also have The Last of Us season part 2.
Are we talking about this that on this?
Oh, we're gonna make it happen.
Oh, okay, that's new. Okay, um, I'm gonna have to play Last of Us 2 and before it comes out, so I'll be busy.
Well, you don't have much time, so you better hurry up. Um,
Listen, you.
no, I meant because work's gonna be starting soon. It has nothing to do with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to start work probably by the end of March. So
I was actually well, it depends on how the weather goes. I would imagine.
I still have a lot of snow, so it's
Well, no, that
still gonna
I
take
under,
some time.
but I'm also wondering though because it's supposed to get warmer, and when I say warmer, it's gonna be in the 40s. Um, actually, where I am, it's gonna hit 50 once.
Yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday over here is supposed to hit 49 as a high, so it could break 50. But
So my
here's the thing: is yes, the snow will melt. It's going to take a little while because it's so frozen.
no, I'm
But
not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing.
you have to realize too. Yes, the snow is gone, but the ground is going to be soaking wet, and I will not be able to do anything. You have to wait for the ground to
I
strengthen a
know.
little bit.
No, that's fine. But my point I'm making is it might be sooner than the end of March. It also
Yeah,
depends on the
no, I
weather.
mean,
Like realistically, if it's just a dry time, you might be fine.
oh yeah, I mean, if we don't get any additional rain and the weather's good, yeah, I
No
could start
snow.
sooner. But
Hopefully, no more
the
snow,
the goal is end of March. But
which is fair.
who
But
knows?
what I'm getting at is though, you're running out of time. I'm not saying you can't get it done in a month because you can.
Yeah.
I'm just stating like
If I
it's
play
not.
for a solid weekend,
It's
if I play for a solid weekend, I could get it done.
what I'm getting at is it's not December where you have all the time in the world.
I know, I know.
But anyway, so that's going to be next week. So for now, this is going to be Scott and Mike signing out of the Black Eel podcast. If you've made it this far into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, we're signing out. Have a good night. Bye bye.